Yeah, so given many companies, particularly SME companies, do not buy cyber insurance, I wouldn't necessarily call it a mainstream product. Still, we're not in a position to treat cyber insurance as something that companies should not buy, because the threats are very real and the impact is immediate. As cyber insurance providers, we need to be in a position to really be able to communicate the value, and this is where brokers come in. Selling policies or having those discussions with clients is not just about selling policies, it's about helping them understand the real threats, how they can prepare, and then what happens in terms of recovery. And to help those conversations, we've created a suite of training tools to help brokers with their client conversations, to be able to communicate what those threats are and again how they recover. And three that are really popular is our video, which talks through our cyber proposition, particularly the added value. We've also created cyber claims examples, and then the most popular is our cyber coverage table, which lists out what's within the policy, the added value, using terminologies that are frequently used within the market. Cyber insurance is a real threat, and we need to better prepare, better bridge that knowledge gap, and that is how we are working with brokers to be able to make cyber insurance more mainstream.
It's certainly a more mainstream product. I think everyone's talking about it a lot more. Unfortunately, I think it's still one of those things that many businesses view as it won't happen to me, so I don't need it. And then the cost of it can be slightly higher than other product lines, so they weigh up that versus will it happen to me and decide not to go for it. But I think we can shift this by making it more of a cyber security risk management program rather than an insurance product, because most cyber products have like a 24/7 cyber helpline, and people can call on that at any point, and that is when a cyber product really comes into its own.
So cyber insurance very much is a mainstream product, and it's already protecting millions of businesses out there across the globe. And just here at Beazley, we've managed over 35,000 cyber incidents on behalf of policyholders. So it's a really well used, what we would call full spectrum proposition. So the way that cyber insurance has become we would call a proposition rather than insurance. The preemptive part of cover, where the risk management services are offered to clients to help them protect themselves before an incident happens, is a really important part of it. How do we help? Well, it's very much in the hands of the excellent brokers that we have in this room today to help them give excellent advice to their clients, to help bring to life the risks that are out there and how risk management services, as well as insurance, can help protect them going forwards.
So I think my answer would be the same as I would have given 10 years ago, sadly, which is not yet. And I think you just need to look at the numbers. In 2024, 50% of businesses had some form of cyber breach, but yet if you look at the sort of penetration of the market, it's less than 15%. So I don't think we're quite a mainstream just yet. I think the bits that have improved, though, is a shift away from viewing insurance as a sort of risk transfer mechanism and more around risk mitigation. So they're the areas that I think we need to focus on, which is more around how do we prevent things from occurring rather than the insurance policy being that sort of that position of last resort. I think there's a brilliant opportunity for brokers at the moment in the softening market where hopefully the underlying insurance premiums will be coming down, which means that there might be space within the broader insurance program to broaden out the sort of portfolio density there. And I think there's also an opportunity for us as an insurance market to look at how do we start to modularise products, with cyber being a core component of that. So what's not helping is the focus on large breaches and incidents that wipe off 100 million from a listed company share price. There's more that we need to do to illustrate the impact of those sort of smaller businesses that I think are most impacted by anything in terms of a cyber breach or an incident.
I think it's recognised by the market and the insurance industry as a mainstream product, but with the low penetration that we see across most UK brokers, less than 4% in most agencies, it demonstrates we've got a lot longer to go in both education of clients and brokers into the product.
So I think cyber is a really important product and has a really valuable place, but I don't think we can sit here today saying it's become mainstream. It will still, in some areas, be seen as optional, and I think we still have, particularly in smaller businesses, a lot of businesses that will sit there and think, well, that's never going to be really a problem for me. So I think at the moment there's still a way we can go in terms of making the cover much more accessible. So as people understand what they're getting, why is it important, and finding that way into making it more part of the core proposition that people are buying. At the moment, I think it's often still seen as an add-on. So we need to move it into the core, but we also need to do a better job of explaining what the value is by ensuring it that customers are going to get it.
Cyber insurance absolutely should be a mainstream product. It unfortunately is not as of today. So less than 10%, we believe, of the UK market are buying a true standalone cyber insurance policies today. And that just doesn't feel right. There's a massive delta right now between most companies positioning cyber as their top 3, if not their number 1 business risk, and companies actually purchasing it. And so that is our biggest challenge, both from the insurance company side and the broking side, to make sure that we close that gap and start speaking to clients about it. Why it's not a mainstream product yet, a lot of it is simply the conversation isn't being had with clients on cyber risk, and that's down to confidence and knowledge issue. It's also down to market conditions and time spent speaking to the client, where they have existing coverages within their insurance program to think about. Rates are looking a little bit different all over the place. I think a bigger issue, and one that we really want to combat over the next few months, is the education piece and making sure that cyber is no longer treated as a specialist product. We see the people who have historically done well in cyber from the broking side have been specialist cyber practice leaders, 1 or 2 individuals, if not a slightly bigger team of people who are maintaining all of that knowledge on cyber. And so when you get somebody who's a generalist insurance broker working on things and a cyber risk comes their way, that gets passed off and the knowledge doesn't get cascaded down to the organization. So for us, if cyber is a risk that permeates every single business around the world, no matter what your trade is, what size you are, where you are in the world, we need to make sure that everybody is speaking about cyber to every single client, because it's no longer that specialist product. So education is absolutely key with that, simplifying what it is and ensuring as a market we're providing a product that customers want to buy as well, which I think we are as of today.
I think cyber products are evolving from a nice to have to an essential. Recent events have focused the minds on how cyber attacks can really affect big corporates too. It's also evolving from reactive to proactive, so our cyber team are being asked to help and advise on protections and risk management. The challenge is to increase the number of SMEs and micro businesses with correct levels of cyber cover. Recent BIBA research will tell you that it's only a minority that have the correct levels of cover. So whilst I don't think it's quite mainstream yet, I think it's going to get there very soon.
So I think cyber is a mainstream product purely by way of the fact that we've seen so many cyber events across the world, across geographies in the recent time. I guess from our perspective, from an Aon perspective, we are very much about it's a product that is important to our clients, but actually paramount is understanding and being able to quantify what that risk looks like, understand what the exposure is, and then decide whether that risk is a transferable risk or a risk that needs to be retained. So it is definitely a mainstream product, and it's all about the analytics to understand it in the best way.